How can a moderator set clear goals in a discussion? Are you moderating a panel or a discussion and you're looking for ways to set clear goals and objectives and keep everyone on track? If so, this is the video for you. First, we'll go over the one thing that all moderators must do to stay on track. Second, we'll talk about the steps that a moderator should take so that all parties involved leave feeling fulfilled. And then lastly, I'll share one bonus hack that I use as a professional speaker. Let's get started. So if you're watching this video, you've probably been asked to moderate a panel or a discussion at some point. This might be in a professional environment, or maybe it's just part of your book club and you're trying to figure out how do you manage the energy of multiple people who are taking part in a discussion. Well, I can completely understand. While I'm primarily a keynote speaker, usually a couple times a year I'm brought into organizations to moderate panels or discussions, or sometimes to MC the entire event. And it's very tricky because it's not just a matter of knowing what you're supposed to say or adhering to a schedule. As you know, humans are tricky and unpredictable. So managing their energy and keeping them on track so that the audience gets what they need is a little bit of a task, y'all. One of the first things that you want to do as a moderator to keep everyone on track is to define the purpose, like audibly, for everyone to hear, the people that are on the panel that are part of the discussion, as well as anyone else that's in the audience that's participating simply by viewing. We want to make sure that we're defining the purpose and clearly state the primary reason for the discussion. Is it for decision-making purposes? Is it informational? Are you trying to problem solve? Or is it strictly for information sharing? Define what you're trying to get out of it. That way, everyone is within earshot. Everyone understands what the general purpose is. You're bringing everyone together around that purpose. The second thing you want to do is take that purpose and break it down into objectives. Now, a good moderator can do this in a fun and interesting way. They're not just getting up there saying, our purpose of talking today is this, and we're going to do it through these ways. Although you can say it just that way as well, so don't feel any pressure, but we do need specific objectives. These objectives should be actionable, ensuring that the participants understand the key outcomes that are expected. The reason why we want to do this is that sometimes we get people on panels that maybe they don't get a chance to talk a whole lot. And so they're going to take this opportunity to go way off track and tell all their funny stories and feel adored because they didn't have a chance to do this at any other point in life. If you make the objectives clear from the beginning, these folks are a little bit more likely to plug into it because there's accountability, because the entire room has now been made aware of what the objectives are. So then the entire room knows when a panelist is getting off objective. Next thing you want to do is establish ground rules. Set your behavioral expectations for the participants. If we need the audience to raise their hands at certain points when participants ask them a question, let the audience know that it's going to be interactive. If you're going to take questions at the end, let the audience know that as well. Regarding the participants themselves, let them understand the amount of time that they'll have to answer questions, so that they don't think that they can just go on and on and on. Ensure that they understand that we're requesting that they stay on topic. We know that they're knowledgeable about many, many things, but we want to make sure that their answers relate to the questions being asked. And make sure that everyone understands that the reason you're setting these restrictions or boundaries is so that you actually achieve your objectives. Brian Walter is a great friend of mine who is an example of an incredible moderator. He's someone who finds ways to gamify panels and discussions. And so when we talk about, for instance, setting timers, he lets them know they only have so much time to answer, but there might actually be a timer going on the board that's counting them down so that they see that when they run out of time, there's actually going to be some type of buzzer that goes off. Now, that's not appropriate in all environments, but I think we can see that's a fun way to keep people on track and also to hold them accountable. If you set it up so that you're moderating in a way that's a little humorous, you can also redirect them when they're getting off track in a way that's funny, but doesn't actually make fun of them as well. So again, we want to make sure that we're setting those ground rules so that everyone understands the proper behavior. Quick question before we go any further. Have you already subscribed to this channel? If you haven't already, make sure you take a moment and subscribe right now. I mentioned my friend Brian Walter's use of timers to keep people on schedule. One of the other things you want to do along those lines is to have visual aids. So maybe as you're moderating a discussion, maybe there's certain slides that pop up that show the next question or that frame something so that Your discussion panelists can always look up to it and ensure that they're staying on point and they're not forgetting where they're trying to go. But visual aids can be an excellent way to just add a little bit of something extra to a panel. So after you've had a great panel discussion, you've done a great job of moderating, what you want to do is ensure that you're wrapping everything up in the end in a tight little bow. Review the information that was presented, review the major outcomes, connect that to the objectives that you already stated in the beginning, and also ensure that you're connecting those to that main goal so that the audience sees that you and the team of panelists working together actually achieved the goal that was originally set. I mentioned in the beginning that I would give you one of my little tricks that I use as a paid professional speaker, and that is I research the panelists. So I don't just look at whatever the organization gives me about the people that will be there or the bios that I'm given. I actually take the time to look them up on social media, learn a little bit more about them. If they're part of an organization and I have access to other people in the organization, I might ask, what are they known for? What are they admired for? Do you know any funny stories about them? And the kick is, at least for me, when it comes to giving information to the audience or tying in the information I know about the panelists, I never, ever, ever want to embarrass them, but I always want to humanize them and make them feel excited and proud to be there. So do your research beforehand so that you can know who your panelists are and honor them in the process. Speaking of processes, if you're watching my series of videos, you know that I'm a futurist and I'm always concerned with you being ready for the future. You'll notice in the description of this video, there's a link to download my Future Ready Playbook. This playbook is chock full of activities and worksheets that will help you better strategically prepare for the future, whether we're talking about your personal future, your professional future, or even your organization's future. If you have not already downloaded it, take a moment and download it right now.